evening, most lubrious members of the convention. Yes, I've beaten the dictionary again.
Don't you mean inebriated?
That's later.
Ah.
First we've got to go for machines.
Especially as the coffee machines are. I'm still inebriated.
We are now going to partake in a wonderful half-hour poetry done by our poet in residence, Abigail.
Hello, I am Dawn Abigail, otherwise known as Dawn the Poet. So guess what I'm going to do? I have good news if you like poetry, and I have good news if you don't like poetry. If you like poetry, the good news is we're going to have some poetry. Hooray! If you don't like poetry, I've got no patience, so all my poems are really short. So exactly, blink and it'll be over. It'll be over in a moment. I write silly poems. I write some sad poems. I write silly poems. I write poems about supernatural events and silly poems. And I write philosophical poems. Did I mention the silly poems? Yeah. I also write some hard science poems. So the set is going to end with a poem detailing a scientific experiment that I myself have undertaken. I thought that would be appropriate for this audience. But I'm going to start with one of my darker poems dealing with a difficult subject. It's dealing with the subject of death. And this poem is called Ode to a Dead Slug I Found Drowned in a bucket of water one morning. Oh, dead slug, you were found drowned in a bucket of water, which means you shouldn't water. Climb into fluid bearing contains when you're not entirely sure of the content. Thank you. If you have been affected by any of the issues in this poem, then help is available from Gardener's Question Time. So, it's probably got the gist of me now. Well, I'm going to, given this is a science fiction convention, I'm going to get straight into a science fiction poem. It is about a character from a cult TV show, but given you're all SF fans, I think you might have heard of this programme. It's called Doctor Who. Who? Yeah? Yeah? What? Okay. No, Doctor Who, you know. What? And it's a character, one of the monsters from Doctor Who, and it's called Sympathy for the Dalek. Wow. The enemy we love to hate. Down corridors, they lie in wait. Their head resembles a bald pate on which their ideas illuminate. With their bumps, they etheric beam locate. Their deadly ray guns fire straight as their evil actions they narrate. Say, locate, annihilate. Puny humans they berate as our cities they obliterate. Do you think they're driven mad by hand then? They float around as if on skates, and we all know how their voices grate. Exterminate! Exterminate! Pity about the sink plunger. Keeping with all things Spanish, I have been known to indulge in a bit of steampunk myself. In fact, the first time I saw steampunk tea dueling was here at EasterCon.
Oh, wow.
Demonstrated at EasterCon, Armadacon, demonstrated by Chris and Jenny. And they just did it so wonderfully. The insults going backwards and forwards, it was absolutely marvellous. And that went into my poet brain. And then at EasterCon, I saw a performance by Professor Elemental. Yeah. And that went into my poet brain. And this is the poem that came out. And it's called For the Love of Tea. O luscious draught, O milky brew, to drown in an ocean of your Brownian motion is all I want to do. But tragic tale this, your joys I must shun, not for me the dried pearls of Assam, for myself a fragile flower I be, my stomach, alas, too delicate for tea. Your caffeine would thrill me, your tannin revive, but I must eschew you if I am to survive. So let me away to a secluded bower, where I'll sit at a red bush and silently cower, shunned by my clan, no dueling for me, as I sadly decline a nice cup of tea. Oh, it's very much too much fun. So I'm sticking with steampunk, but the actual inspiration for this next poem was that great Scottish poet, by which, of course, I mean William McGonagall. I mean, the great thing about William McGonagall is he would tour the country giving performances of his poems, and people would write to him begging him to stop. Just please, no. But he carried on regardless, and I like that attitude. His most famous poem was called The Great Tay Bridge Disaster. It was about the disaster of the Tay Bridge. Now, a key feature in that disaster had been the construction of the buttresses. Buttresses is not of itself a particularly poetic word, you know, but he wanted to put it in because it was relevant. And I think the fact that he wrote the poem, he put the word buttresses in, and he demonstrated that it's really not a poetic word. I mean, it just doesn't work. And so, inspired by this, I wanted to write my own poem featuring the word buttresses. Now for this, you'll have to imagine that I'm addressing a steampunk lady with the corset and the little hat and all the usual accoutrements. And it goes like this. So this poem is called Your Bustle is Like a Buttress. Your teeny hat inspires me. Your corset doth inflame. But your bustle is like a buttress, defending against my claim. Oft we have conversed, your hand I've held in my sway, but your buttress of a bustle frankly gets in the way. If your heart I am to win, then your masonry I must defeat. So I'll batter all your buttresses till you fall at my feet. So I'm moving away from the female body now and thinking more about men. So this next one is an ode to a certain physical type of man. And we're not going for sort of blue-eyed American hero. We're going for more, it's more a question of thinking David Tennant rather than David Hasselhoff. Do you know what I mean? The more sort of slender, intellectual type. And this is a poem in praise of that more I like to think, more intellectual type of man. And it's called Wimps. I think wimps are rather nice. Their legs are long, their muscles small. They haven't any guts at all. Their shoulders sag with rounded backs. Their ribs stick out just like toast racks. Their smile is mild. They can't be called butch. And most girls don't seem to like them much. But I think wimps are nice. Now, I know this is a science fiction weekend, but I'm going to have to say the W word for a moment here, work. I know. We're all trying to forget about the, Monday morning. But one of the things I like about science fiction conventions is you can wear what you like. Yeah. You can express yourself in your clothes, you can wear a cloak or a hat or neither or whatever you like. But when we go back into the world of work, I don't know about you, but I find that you have to kind of keep a bit of yourself under wraps. You can't quite be yourself and express yourself as you would. And I do like the ways that people have come up with small ways of rebelling, like, maybe a badge behind your lapel or things like that. And this next poem is about one of those small ways in which people rebel, and it's called Stripy Socks. The meeting's called, delegates bustle, coffee's drunk amidst the hustle. We sit to talk, they make their plan to seek approval for their grand plan. But I am wearing stripy socks. My suit is on, I'm looking smart. The chairman calls for our minds, our hearts. Brains are stormed, plans are made. I even think I might get paid. But I am wearing stripy socks. Truth told, I am a colourful soul. But to earn my pay, I keep decorum. Wear sombre grey to appease the forum. Put on my costume to start play. My suit may be dull, but my ankles rock. For I am wearing stripy socks. Oh, I am! I was due to actually be wearing stripy socks, but I forgot them. So, apologise for the complete lack of the boring socks at the moment. So, sticking with the world of work. Now, some of us don't have to go back to work on Monday because we're retired. And we are all reaching that age where if it's not actually happened, it's on the horizon.
Oh, no, not all of us.
Okay, some lucky ones of us are reaching that age. Some of it's out there somewhere. It is out there somewhere. So thinking about how you leave work, and I'm guessing you've all heard the term golden handshake?
Yeah.
Which makes me smile. I mean, it's basically, you've got someone who's earning stupid amounts of money, and they mess up horrendously, and so the company gives them more stupid amounts of money to go away. And I've got to that stage in life where I realised no one is giving me stupid amounts of money to go away. No one is giving me stupid amounts of money to stay. Just no one's giving me stupid amounts of money. It's not happening. So this next poem, rather than golden handshake, is called raisin handshake. There will be no parade, no fanfare for the common woman when my working days are done. No riding off into the sunset. More sloping off the bus stop. There will be no fireworks. There will be a squib. A presentation, perhaps, from somebody I might even know. And flowers from the garage. I will be missed until at least next Tuesday. A whole minute of mourning for every year of toil. But as I go gentle into that good night, I will not rage against the dying of the light. Just empty my biscuit drawer and tell my manager to regularly water the upper plant. For even if I rave at close of day, I will not be remembered, merely replaced. Thank you. I'm kind of sticking with the age theme on this one. You talk about the greying of fandom, and I'm not going to look and count the grey heads here, but though, there is something to be said for that. So the next poem is simply about the way that, you get older, you don't necessarily want to do the things that you did when you were younger. And this poem is called I'm Not Getting Any Younger.
Oh boy.
I don't want to stay up late. I want to go to bed at 8:30. I don't want to drink till I fall over. I'd much rather curl up on the sofa. I don't want to jet off to the sun. Canal boats more my idea of fun. I don't want to face snap Insta app. I want a face-to-face proper chat. I don't want designer brands. The latest jumpers look like my nans, and celebrities just leave me cold. They'll look about 12 years old. I'm not buying what we're being sold. I will not sit down and do as I'm told. What has brought me to this state of rage? Yes, you've guessed it. I've reached middle age. So, don't forget we've got the hardcore science poems just to come. That's ending with a hardcore science one, so if you're thinking these are getting slightly foolish. But I'm going to go over to the spooky side of things now. And this, I mean the seasons change all the time, but I think this time of year, you notice it, you really notice it, with all the leaf fall, the different colours, and you can't avoid noticing autumn, and it makes you think about, you know, the days drawing in. And this is my supernatural take on how that happens and how the seasons change, and it's called How the Wheel Turns. The Fire Witch drinks luxuriant poison to sleep through seasons and scorn memory and desire. The Ice Warlock curses the witch with a cold stare, bringing death to hope, banishing all to dark despair. The Dew Maiden uncurls from her blossom cocoon, anticipating the warm caress of the summer. The Sun King walks forth without fear or worry, blindly unheeding the rising power of the witch. I did get typecast as a witch when I was at school doing acting because I got the chin for it. And I did have long hair at the time as well, so it was very easy to do a witch. But we're going to keep with the supernatural side of things now. Some of you who were at the presentation earlier about the show and tell exhibition may have heard me say that I've got a bit of an obsession with Spaghetti Junction. Odd as that may sound, it's just that it's such a liminal space. You've got railways, motorways, canals, there's even a river running through it. And you think all that, it's kind of one of those places which is nowhere and everywhere at once. You know, underneath that, it's such an odd space. And I thought, well, it's got to have a spirit looking after it, hasn't it? It's just, that's how it appears to me anyway. So this next one is simply called The Fairy of Spaghetti Junction. She wears chains, the Fairy of Spaghetti Junction, and a safety pin through her nose. Don't tell her that's passé. She's seen more past than you could ever grasp. Before the motorways, before the railways, before canals, she watched walkers wend their way. The Fairy of Spaghetti Junction. By her river, where water lapped the land, where worlds held hands, she held sway, helping lost travellers, or leading them astray. Such was her domain before industry came. First fell her flowers, her reed skirts replaced by rags, her dewdrop necklace now glistening steel. For the spirit of the land reflects the life she holds in her hands, so she wears chains and bleeds black. But don't think her sad. Don't imagine she misses the cows that came to graze, the crows that came to call. Like the seasons, she changes. Her factory-made finery she wears with pride, for she is the fairy of Spaghetti Junction. Thank you.
Take some of this stuff upstairs.
Okay, we've got one more poem, then a couple of science poems to finish off. We're doing this hardcore scientific experiment at the end. Don't forget that. So the next one, I wasn't quite sure where to put it. I could have easily put this at the start of the set, but I put it in here. It's kind of a philosophical one, just about everything really. The previous title, I did have it. The title was Greatness for a while, but I changed it to I'm okay, you're okay. They say that some are born great. I was born on a housing estate. Some achieve greatness, but I'm still not sure what that is. And I've never had greatness thrust upon me, despite what some ex-boyfriends might say. I find, if I work really hard, what I mainly get is tired. How many years must I wait to have them others define me as great? To see what heights I can scale, or just accept it? Total fail! But it seems to me those classifications are someone else's interpretations. My life's fine. I'm well fed and warm, I have good friends to keep me from harm. I'm hale and hearty, so not sure I should be, looking for what others see, being so critical of me, when in fact the reality is I may not be great. But you know what? That's okay. Thank you. Right, the first of the science poem, this is actually, it's a sad science poem, if that's a thing, apparently. Obviously you'll all have heard of the Voyager probes. And they're still out there, they're still wending their way. They have some problems, but mostly they still manage to send some data back, which is just wonderful. And I suppose I'm kind of anthropomorphizing, but I can't help but think of this little thing out there, so far away from where it started. Hence this next poem, which is simply called Voyager. I am aware of the aurorae, of dust and light, the sounds and sights that I send back to a place I once called home. Safe, nestled in nothingness, I drift through the constant turmoil and the infinite calm, disturbed only by the memory of the first mystery. And though I gather treasure, I do not hoard, I signal. I send it all back to a place I once called home. Right, now we get to some hardcore science then? Mm-hmm. Yes, that sort of thing. So, I'm guessing most of you will have heard of the Channel 4 show, The Infinite Monkey Cage?
Oh, okay.
Hosted by Robin Innes and Brian Cox. And I was listening to it one week, and it had an article about cosmic dust. And without being too technical, cosmic dust is dust that falls from the cosmos. You all got that? Yeah. Cosmic dust comes down. And there's a research project to look for cosmic dust on the roof of Canterbury Cathedral. And I got to thinking, if it's on the roof of Canterbury Cathedral, well, it could be anywhere. And I called this poem, Brian Cox Made Me Do It. Cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. Cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. Don't want to take a break, I don't want to rest. I just want to look for dust on my Ford Fiesta. cleaner from a bloke in Leicester. Got a vacuum cleaner from this guy Leicester. Gonna suck up the dust without any stress. Cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. Wrote a letter to make a request. I wrote a letter, made a special request for a scanning transmission electron microscope with microprobe analyzer to study cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. Cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. What I found made me depressed. What I found left me quite bereft. It seems I've come to the end of my quest. There's no cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. No cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. No cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. There's twigs near and bird shit and the rest. But no cosmic dust on my Ford Fiesta. Thank you. I am, have been, and will be Dawn the Poet. Thank you and good night.